Nobody tells you that being an adult is just figuring out what to eat over and over until you die. I need you to stop apologizing for being amazing at things, because that's ridiculous. I would like you to show me what modesty has gotten you in your career. All right, here we go. I'm going to pretend I'm pushing record because that feels right. Okay, I'm pressing record. Boop. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Howard. Welcome to Different Not Broken, which is our podcast on exactly that there are a lot of people in this world walking around feeling broken, and the reality is you're just different, and that's fine. This holiday season, you want to get something for the overwhelmed person in your life. I'm going to describe what I want. I think it's pretty universal. I don't know that that's true. This could just be me being wildly egotistical, which is a thing that happens, and I will own that. But I'm going to describe what you could get me and make me the happiest person in the world for like 5 minutes before I found something new to complain about. So, what I want, and this isn't actually even for the holidays, this is just a thing that I fairly regularly want if you are trying to do something nice for me. And just know that my husband does not listen to this, so it's not getting back to him. And I'm just saying, if somebody wants to let him know, that'd be great. I want a nice hotel room with a giant bed with just shy of 10,000 pillows on it. I'll know if you're short, but I'm not going to count. I want to be able to fall on so many pillows that I don't even know where the bed is. Feather pillows are preferred, but I will not make that request for anybody else because I know there's allergy issues there. I have a kid that's allergic to feather pillows. I get it. I want to fall on a feather pillow and have it catch me and then have it slowly deflate. That's like supreme happiness to me is when it goes, it just like slowly becomes flat. Oh, love it. That's like my thing. Okay, so I want that room. I just want the stark white bed stuff that all looks hyper clean, with a pile of pillows so high that it dwarfs me, which is not that hard because I'm not tall. And I want there to be 2 rooms. Actually, this part is negotiable. I don't actually care. Like a suite with like a couch area and a bed area, but that's actually totally negotiable. I want the TV remote to be readily accessible. I want to push the button when I'm ready. And the only voice I want to hear, there's 2 options for voices. 1, Keith Morrison. 2, Benson and Stabler. Outside of those 2, I don't want to hear any voices. I should hear no noise except for those people or the people who are addressing them. Now, you might replace those people with your own. That's totally fine. That part is completely negotiable. Whoever. I want to go on vacation with only Keith Morrison, and he does not have to be there. I'm just saying. I want silence. Other than that, I want there to be a steady stream of food that I like that I did not have to pick.
Okay, L2 is in her bed ready. Start the conveyor belt of snacks.
I just want it to show up. I don't want to have to look at a menu. I don't want to have to make a choice. I don't want to have to think about anything. I want it to be a no decision zone. I walk in the room, I shut the door. There is going to be a steady stream of random bags of shit that I like that's just going to show up at some point. And I'm going to open the door and I'll be like, ooh, French fries. And I will make the decision to get the door when I freaking feel like it. Just leave it. You don't need to hand it to me. If somebody steals it, that's the cost of doing business. I don't want to get up until I'm damn ready to get up. I want to be able to open the sliding door or the window, the balcony, whatever of the room that I'm in, and hear water, but I don't want to go to the water. I just want to be able to hear it, maybe smell it. But I don't want to go to the water. I have no tolerance for sand. We're not doing that. But I want it to be nearby. And I want to know it's there. I maybe want to be able to like sit on a porch that is also very quiet, or like a balcony where I can hear the water, but not actually go to the water. I want nobody, including housekeeping, to darken the doorway of my room. I want to talk to no one. I want my phone to only be accessible for Dog videos, maybe to talk to my kids. Probably to talk to my kids. I would miss them pretty quickly. Maybe to text with my husband, but I don't want anything else. And I want maybe like 72 hours of mostly silence, again, with the exception of Keith Morrison, who is allowed to talk whenever he wants. No decisions. I don't have to make any decisions, including food. The only decision I want to make is if I feel like getting up right now, if I'd rather just roll over, and if I need to go to the bathroom. Other than that, I want to turn off. I want to make absolutely zero decisions. If you give me an option, I'm going to stare at you blankly. I don't want to know that other people exist for 3 days, except for my kids, because I like them. But everybody else, I'll get back to you in 3 days. That's what I want. And to be very clear, this has almost nothing to do with the setting, though the setting makes it very nice, and I will be very happy with that setting. It has everything to do with not having to make a single goddamn decision, including food. Because nobody tells you this when you're young and all you can think about is how cool it's going to be an adult. Nobody tells you that being an adult is just figuring out what to eat over and over until you die. And then they give you kids and they're like, by the way, figure it out for these ones too. And also, they're not going to like a bunch of the stuff that you put in front of them. And also, if you give them things out of a bag, the rest of the world will make you feel bad for it. I am so tired of thinking about what to feed people. My husband will come into the office and be like, hey, what do you want for dinner? And I'll be like, I don't care. And he's going to be like, but I need your help. And I'm like, if I have to choose, I don't want to eat. Because that's how tired I am of making decisions. Not that I don't want to participate in our family, because I do, but I cannot make any more decisions. I've done all of it. There are no more decisions to be made until 5 minutes from now when a new decision pops up and I have to make that one, and I'll be very, very spicy about it. If you are unsure what to get someone who does all the things for all the people and works really, really hard, is probably overwhelmed but is probably not telling you that, go for the gift of nothing. And that doesn't mean you get them nothing. It means you give them the chance to do nothing outside of exactly what they want to do. And if they're a person who picking fancy meals is like something they enjoy, then they probably don't need the just food showing up at the door thing. But I almost guarantee you, especially women who are expected to be the primary logistics officers for their families, which does not necessarily mean children, by the way. I was the primary logistics officer for my family long before I had children, and that does not necessarily apply to the person I married. I have 3 brothers. They're functionally useless. And I say that to their faces all the time. Give them the gift of nothing. I promise they will appreciate it. You might have to do a little bit of homework to figure out what their actual nothing is. This is my version of nothing. My version of nothing absolutely includes not talking to people, but most of my versions of everything include not talking to people. So that might be negotiable, but I bet it's less negotiable than you think it is. So I was talking to one of my team members today. She's relatively new to the team. I was talking about something that was unrelated to her job. It was just something that we were kind of shooting the breeze about. And I said it to her, and she came up with this amazing solution for it. It wasn't even really a problem that needed to be solved. It was just something that I was talking about. And she was like, oh, well, the way that you fix that is... And I was like, completely blown away by it. I was like, okay, I didn't even know that this was in your skill set. Amazing. It was an incredible answer. And then as soon as it came out of her mouth, she immediately apologized for overstepping. Which, like, what? So I said, I need you to stop apologizing for being amazing at things. Because that's ridiculous. But she was like, oh, I was just really worried that I was like, no. We don't do that. No. You are not only encouraged to be good at things, you are allowed to be good at things. And I need you to be good at things. I pay you for things to be good at things. And that does not mean that you should only be good at the thing I specifically pay you for. Maybe I need to be paying you for more things. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm not paying you for enough things. It got my brain working. I want to start encouraging you, dear listener, to be more willing to brag about yourself. Because you do good things every day and you have been conditioned to believe that you should keep them quiet. for seeming like you're impressed with yourself. Be impressed with yourself. You are impressive. We need to know about the amazing kick-ass things that you are doing, and I want to know about them all the time. And it can be little stuff. It can be tiny stuff. I remember to take out the garbage because I'll be honest, in the amount of years I've been married, which is a lot of times, there are a handful of times that I have been responsible for the garbage and not fully outsourced that to my husband, who is very reliable when it comes to the garbage. In the times that I have been responsible for the garbage, I've maybe gotten it done twice. And it might be more than twice, but I'm including getting it done, like remembering to do it and getting it in the can the night before, like grown-ups are supposed to do, as opposed to what I do, which is hear the truck going down the street and go, oh shit, and run outside with bags full of trash trying to get there before No. My husband, who is very good at this type of stuff, remembers to like sweep the whole house for garbage on a Wednesday night because our trash truck comes on Thursday morning. I can probably count on one hand the number of times he's completely forgotten to put the trash out, which is not catastrophic because the trash truck just comes the next time. But when you're me and you forget like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, that's kind of gross. That gets weird. That's why we have a husband who does these things and remembers these things. So it could be that, or it could be,
I got a new job.
or it could be,
I told my toxic boss to shove it up his ass.
there are so many things it could be, but I want you to brag on yourself and I want you to do it for all of us to hear. So we are setting up a line that you can call into. And if you want to leave us a note, you can do it at differentnotbrokenpodcast.com/voicemail. You can leave a message there that we might play on air to say what cool things you've been up to, what things you're proud of yourself. Leave your first name, your last initial. Please don't leave any information that will get you in trouble or fired, which, let's put it this way. If I'm concerned about that, I'm going to redact it anyway, so you're probably safe. But do yourself a favor and don't send it if you can avoid it, because we should be bragging on ourselves more. And women and femmes will do really, really amazing stuff and then sweep it under a rug because we have this idea that nobody's going to like us if we're not modest. I would like you to show me what modesty has gotten you in your career. And I'm not saying to be a self-impressed, braggadocious douchebag. I'm saying you are allowed to be completely proud of yourself for the things that you've done, and we want to celebrate it. So at the end of every episode, we will remind you that you can send over your brags, and we might play them on an episode, we might read them on an episode, and we might share them on an episode. And now we'll go to Allison, who has this week's small talk.
All right. So this question is about family and holidays. What to do? I have several dogs and cats, and every year I hear how having X number of pets is illegal in a lot of places. And even though it's legal here and they are taken care of, you don't even have kids. Why choose pets over children? How do I answer that? Especially because it gets asked every year at least once or twice.
I have many, many responses for this. The first one is, fuck those people. The second one is, it's none of their goddamn business. The third one is, you could just stare blankly when they ask that. Don't justify it with a response. Stare blankly and blink hard. I promise they will never ask it again. The subtext of that, actually, no, I don't even think that's subtext. I think it's just text, is that somehow having pets or having animals is a less valid decision than having a family, which is not flippin' true. I have 2 children who I love more than anything, and given my druthers, I would have 10 more because I love having kids that much. And I say that as somebody who has a busted-ass uterus that doesn't work correctly, so I can't have the 7,000 kids that I want, even though, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I would ever be pregnant again because being pregnant is the worst thing in the whole entire world, even though you get a really cute kid out of it. Anyway, I say this with all of that very widely documented. I have kids. I love them. I would never trade them for anything. They're the most important people in the world to me. I love every minute that I have with them, even the minutes that I don't. And also, you can love sleep and money as much as you can any small human. It is a completely valid decision to decide that you don't want children, and that is not worth judgment or derision or to be treated as if you are making some decision that they have any business passing judgment on. It's not their goddamn business. we had trouble having kids. We struggled for 4 years before we got pregnant with our first. We were married for 6 years before we had our first kid. And it was devastating and awful. And people would ask us all the time when we were going to have kids. And I started looking them square in the face and saying that we have dogs instead of kids because you can put dogs in boxes and leave the house, and people get really mad when you do that with kids. They would stop asking after that. Now, that wasn't true. The reality was every time somebody asked me that question, it was like a knife to the friggin' heart because we went through this horrible process of years and years of fertility treatments that took every ounce of my soul, crushed it up, and spit it out. But you don't have to be going through something hard for it to be a question that people shouldn't frickin' ask you. It's not their goddamn business. So we actually did an entire episode on not asking people why they don't have children. It's episode number 21. You can find it at differentnotbrokenpodcast.com/21 if you want to go back and listen to it. But we did a whole episode on leaving people in their fertility choices and not choices out of friendly conversation and how it should not be part of it. So go back and listen to that for more on this. If your pets are well taken care of, if they are how you choose to spend your time and money, and I say this as a person with children, but also a person with lots and lots of pets. Technically, we only have 2, but they're very large. My pets are as well taken care of as my children are. They are as integrated into the family as my children are. Some would argue that Bruno's attempts to be inside my skin all the time means he gets more attention than my children do. And there's nothing wrong with you're not even choosing pets over children. It sounds like you just have pets. It's not a mutually exclusive existence. So the reality is, whoever those people are, please tell them I told them to bite me. I wouldn't even answer the question. Or I would come up with some way to make them deeply uncomfortable for asking it. That's the way that I deal with conflict. That's actually not true. I deal with conflict very directly. But I would absolutely, I really like the blink hard option. But you aren't responsible for asking that question, and maybe it's time to find somebody else to hang out with if that's the question that you get asked every year, as if your personal choices have to change year over year for you to be a valid member of their family or their circle. Get bent. You're allowed to not have kids. You're encouraged to not have kids. The world outside is a toxic hellscape. You don't need to bring kids into this nonsense. Thanks for being here, guys. Have a good day. Love you, mean it. I love saying the fuck word, but I think I like saying get bent more. It's really satisfying. It's really deeply satisfying.